Okay. So carrying on the atmospheric landscapes project. Last week, that was the demo I did last week, and I've added a little bit of Pastel, so I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute, or just what I did there. But this was another one. I thought, as a bit of a recap, I'd just do a little bit on this one. So this was another one that I thought, it's quite a nice atmospheric photograph. I took this one quite a while ago on the Thought Bay, and particularly like the light effects and the clouds, and for me that gives it quite an interesting atmosphere. So I've got this far in one of my other classes as a demo, and I thought I'll just add some shadows down here and some of these darks. So I mixed a sort of dark wash, which I'm going to work into here. And actually, what I will do is using a reasonable size brush. We've got a bit buried in my. I'll use this one. Yeah, just dampen this area a little bit first, just so that I get some nice sort of soft edges. So when an area is dried and you want to work this into that, you can just put some clean water on and then add paint into that. So that should give me a nice soft edge around here. And it's a chance to work wet into wet, so where the sun's going to be reflecting. Most of the boat itself is in shadow, so I can, or it's almost like a silhouette, so I can kind of leave that as it is. And just put this into here. And then a little bit darker here perhaps. So I'll just add a little bit more blue and red and a slightly stronger shadowy colour. And just mix that in with the wash. Just put that in. And keeping to a reasonable size brush. And then what I'll probably want to do next is add some of this. I think it's a mixture of mud and seaweed and shells, just some of those textures. So let's see if I can do that while it's still wet. Just again make it even darker. So I think I've got grey and blue going into the mix, and starting fairly. Still kind of keeping the same brush. Unfortunately, the paper is just starting to cockle a little bit. A little bit here. I think where it hits the light, I'm going to just go a little bit lighter there. Just lighten that a tiny bit. And hopefully that will give the impression of the light catching that area. And back to the darks here. That's all right. This top bit wants to be a little bit lighter, so I'm just going to dilute the mix a little bit more. I'll get some paler variations. Yeah, I think that would probably be enough at this stage. I've then got a choice of, adding more watercolour, or what I could possibly do is use a bit of pastel over the top, so make it more of a mixed medium piece. So that's what I'll show in the I'll carry on a little bit the one that I started last week, which was this one. I've just added that wash there this morning just to make it a little bit darker. So that was the piece. And I find things like these textures and the effects of the clouds quite difficult. So sometimes it can be quite nice to just actually soften areas, like this area here. Soften that out with a little bit of pastel. That's a little bit of grey and a little bit of white mixed together there. effect of light coming through. Can blend it, or I can just leave the pastel. This area here where I added darks, I wasn't very happy with, so that I can just draw in the lights again. Just try and get a sense of the bottoms of the clouds in there. One of the problems with this is that the white won't be quite as bright as the white of the paper, so it can be effective, but you have to be a little bit careful. So that I'm a bit happy with now, just getting that to me reads a little bit more like the bottom of these clouds. Let's bring that light in there. Put that in. I actually think that pastel sometimes picking up the texture of the paper can just really add to the atmosphere. And then a little bit of light in here along the hills. This bit here, I added that colour, but that's not really working. It's a little bit too warm. I'm just going to go back over that with a purple and a grey. Work that with my fingers. And soften that out a little bit there. Let's add some greys into that as well. I think that's, I'm a little bit happy with that. So you see, we can make a kind of modification. So, whereas both the watercolours and I think both watercolours and pastels are quite awkward mediums on their own, sort of using in conjunction, you can get the best of both qualities. Sort of using watercolour as an underpainting or an undercoat. You could use acrylics in the same way, thin down acrylics if you've not got watercolours. Okay, any questions? Right. Okay, right.